What's going on, everybody? Carl Dukes, Mike Bell, Day, Big O. It is Dukes and Bell. We're going to talk to you at 2 o'clock. Our pre-show, though, as we bring it to you every day, kind of talking about things that are going on. First of all, we have to acknowledge that was a gruesome-ass injury last night for Tyreek Hill. If you watch the game, look, Mike, and look, these fast guys, right? This affects his future. It's not just if he comes back. It's if he is the same dude. So I just want to acknowledge that. We wish Tyreek the best, man. He certainly, had his issues last year with that team and the trust level and all that. Miami picks up the dub. But this is why this show, are proponents for guys getting their money because you just never know. And when you see something like that, you're like, that could be not only, season ending, that could be life changing as far as his football future. So anyway.
Well, he's on the wrong side of 30. I mean, it is what it is. He's 31, and they basically said, it's not like akin to Alex Smith, but because it's not like they don't worry about him losing the leg, but the damage, as far as like every L in his knee is like jacked up, ACL, this and that, and not to mention his toe is facing the wrong way. So, and that's a team where you say, you got to win last night, but at some point you say, we got to break this thing back down to the studs and start all over again because it seems like the ceiling for the Dolphins has gotten lower and lower, especially with Mike McDaniel. But again, all this off the field stuff aside, regardless, everyone, if you didn't watch that and go and feel for the guys getting carted off, man, you ain't got a heart.
No doubt. Fellas, Falcons is a bye week, all right? We got plenty of NFL action that'll be happening. The international tour has started. The Falcons will go overseas next month. But how do you build on this? Because if you go to the bye week, and I'm not saying they're going to do this, but you go to the bye week, you kind of, relax a little bit. Oh, look, the offense scored 34. I'm not saying they're doing this, but Mike, you got to build on this. And I got to tell you guys, I went back and looked at the game, the first couple of games, and just looking at the special teams, because Mike and I got into a great conversation yesterday about how the special teams is not helping us.
Right.
This is just not a last week issue. Guys, if you go back to the first game, our special teams was not good. The Vikings game, it really didn't play a role as much, but in the third game, you saw it. It was blatantly in your face again. And then in this game, of course, the fourth game of the season. So if I'm the Falcons, and this is what I'm going to say, Mike, I'm building on, or I got to go find out what the hell's going on with my special teams. And do we have the right personnel out there when it comes to the special teams? Because it's hurting this team, field position-wise, flipping the field, and certainly with field goals.
Yeah, with Xavier Watts going out, we talked about Jesse Bates basically being forced to go in, one of your best players on special teams. And, just they're not getting the job done. And if we're going to hold the special teams coaches to the same standards you're holding the passing game coaches, I'm talking about Ike Hilliard. By any metric, those guys would be on thin ice right now too. So it just doesn't look good. And when your team is still trying to find its identity, coming off a bad loss, you don't need the teams getting over like 200 yards in kick returns and getting amazing field position every other kick. So something's got to change there.
Day, I'll say this too. Can they build on this offensive performance? Meaning, can we get this kind of consistency out of Pitts and Drake London? We haven't seen it. We know they're capable, but we haven't seen it consistent. Can they build on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to. And Mike's been calling for it for quite a while now. Just more usage of Pitts. We talked about the fact that yesterday he's he's got 20 receptions on 24 targets. And so, granted, it's not a lot of yardage total through these first 4 games, but that just shows you just how consistent and reliable he's been for these guys in the pass game. And, I'll go back to week 3 against Carolina. Again, we were told by, when we went behind enemy lines and we were told how, the Panthers struggle with, opposing tight ends, and we didn't take advantage of that. So I just, to Mike's point about using more Pitts, but we got to build off of the momentum we had. Obviously, Zach Robinson moving to the sidelines was a factor in some form. Now we'll find out in a couple of weeks if that consistently holds. Him being on the sidelines, how that impacts his play calling. But we heard from Michael Penix yesterday saying that it was very beneficial for him to sit there with his OC and look at the tablet and talk about things. Carl, you pointed out, like every time they showed him on the broadcast against Carolina in the Carolina game, he's just sitting over there, by himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys hear some kind of noise? Is that just me?
Yeah, I'm
Maybe it's
hearing a
me.
hum as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's screwing up their audio?
I just want to make sure I'm not. And you guys better not be interfering with this.
Right.
All right. I see
It
you
might
guys.
be. Hey, it might be me. Hold on. Let me switch.
The weakest link is Oren.
Because I hear you, but I
Right.
was having a little bit of trouble there.
And now
Hey,
we're
Carl,
going to get
real quick, too,
Oren's
guys.
on the move. It kind of looks
you
like
know-
the Blair Witch Project right now, Carl.
Yeah, it's you, Oren.
Right. But Carl, Mike, let me
Apparently.
ask you guys this too. I know we want to build off the offense, but defensively, we've seen the defense really show that they have the capability of being one of the top defenses, in the league. But do you feel like this may be their biggest challenge? Because Josh Allen isn't a quarterback that just can beat you with you. He will beat you with his legs as well as through the air. Plus, you've got the running back. You got James Cook back there. Do you feel like this may be, to this point, the Falcons' biggest challenge defensively?
Yeah, I thought, Carl, we thought it was going to be the Commanders because of the nature of Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen, I mean, it's a different animal, as everyone knows. Over you, through you, around you, and he also throws for 70%. And I know that the knock on him is that they have the playmakers at receiver. They're getting results. Dalton Kincaid is a huge weapon at tight end. Florida State's Keon Coleman's getting better and better now with more experience in the league. It's not exactly like a who's who, Khalil Shakir, but they moved the chains. And as Day pointed out, James Cook is a stud. And it's kind of like he's kind of like their Saquon or their version of Bijan, can do a little bit of everything. So, yeah, but how do we get the pressure? Pressure on Josh Allen. Hopefully, AJ Terrell, especially Carl and guys, back from the hamstring injury in time for Monday night.
My fear is you get pressure, but because of his ability to run, like we're getting pressure, but he's picking up 6, 8, 10 yards a pop because he can do that. And so, unlike guys who want to stay in the pocket, Josh is comfortable being anywhere. And so this upcoming week, it'll be next Monday. It is literally stay in your lanes.
Right.
Like the pressure is not just getting there.
Yeah.
You've got to, if you see my 4 fingers, you're coming at him like this because you don't want to do this, and then he's running around. So that's my fear with Josh. But, man, look, Mike says dollar score a lot. He uses that term.
Right.
This may be a game where we have to keep up.
33 points per game they average right now.
Correct.
But,
Yeah.
So this may be a game where they score and our offense has to answer. And then typical NFL, right? Comes down to fourth quarter. If we got the ball, can we do what we did last week and just drain the clock, go down, kick a field goal, or win the game with a touchdown? I think that's how this might play out. But if you're not able to keep up, guess what? Now it becomes a big issue. And you don't want to be down at home to the Bills 14 or 17 points. We got plenty of time to break that down, but that's a great question, Day. Let's shift gears, guys. It's Dukes and Bell, our pre show. By the way, Dave Archer is going to join us today. And also Connor Riley from Dog Nation. We'll talk plenty of dogs. Lots of people still reeling about Kirby and the decision on 4th down. We'll talk to him about that and much more. Hawks season is on the horizon. Guys, training camp starts today. Yesterday was media day. I know we've been all caught up in college football and certainly the NFL, and rightfully so. But there are expectations for this team. And I'll have to say, Mike, I don't think that I've judged, and I know you've been critical of him probably more than me,
Right.
and Quinn Snyder. This is going to be his best team. Now I'm ready to judge him. Now I need to figure out if he can coach. He's got versatile players, versatile lineups. Now we can really say, all right, Quinn, that's on you because you've got the guys to do it. I think this is going to be an interesting season. We're talking about it today on the show, guys, but with the Hawks season on the horizon, what are your expectations?
Well, with Porzingis, even though with career and he missed some time last year in the playoffs, but even though you maybe have to work on load management, and God, I hate that phrase, but at his stage of his career, he's not going to play even close to 70 games, Carl. So that's a reality. But how, are you a 4 seed or 5 seed by the time he gets it in gear for the playoffs? He's the best player Trey's ever had alongside.
Hands down.
By any metric. Better than John Collins, certainly better than the DeJounte Murray, that ill-fated, idea of 2 point guards. So they got to make it work. Plus, Jalen Johnson, can he stay healthy? Reece Sachet, everything we've added on defense via free agency. This is his team. I was a little disappointed with Trey making the comments about the contract. I mean, I guess he kind of has to if he's asked about it. Sure, he's disappointed, but I mean, they don't have to give him anything yet. And if it makes hurt feeling, so be it, because he can still make more money with the Hawks, right, Carl, than anywhere else.
Yes.
So go see what we can do with you with the best team you ever had, and then we'll give you the $300 gazillion million.
Yeah. And I think that's what he's probably looking at trying to do, because he did say, like, at the end, he's more so excited about this roster that he has around him. So I think maybe he knows, too, to your point, Mike, that this is a year where, you know what, let me show you what I can really do. Because, I mean, technically the ball is in his court. If he goes out there and balls out, Hawks got a real decision to make on how much money they want to offer him, because at that point he can go get whatever bag he wants to get anywhere in the league.
Now that you've got that hum fixed, Big O, what do you think?
I kind of see it from both sides on Trey, where I think they're, disappointment. I understand that, but at the same time, too, you got to go out and get it. But I mean, I would think maybe if I was Trey that I've been with this franchise through the bad, a little bit of the good. So maybe there would be some sort of reward for me just kind of sticking this whole thing out. But like you said, too, this is the best team he's got around him with Nikhil and Luke Kennard, the guys get out of the offseason. Like they added the team around Trey where we can finally see him play to his strengths and see this Hawks team flourish the way that Quinn Snyder wants them to flourish, where they're going to be, I don't want to say Boston light, but there's going to be a team that's going to be real, real heavy on the perimeter this year. There's going to be a lot of three-pointer shot for this team this year, and you have the team around Trey that can do that. So, yeah, now you got to go out there and show it. And the East is ripe for the picking this year. The Hawks come in, where you could say this probably one of the healthiest teams coming in with the least amount of injury concerns.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're right.
Knock on the wood. I'm sorry. I'm knock on the wood on that one.
Yeah, for real.
It just from a standpoint right now where, they don't have the same questions that Milwaukee does, or the same questions that New York does, or the same questions that Indy does right now. So, there's a consistency, even though it's a newer team, I guess, newer players around him. It was more consistency, I think, with the Hawks this offseason than probably any other team in the East that's at the top half of the Eastern standings right now, are going to be in the top half at the end of the season. So, yeah, you got to go out there and do it. But I'm very excited. This is the most excitement I've had about a Hawks team in a while, just because, I mean, there's quality players around this team right now. We're not hoping on guys who are two-way players or
right.
Guys who are sort of in right now that are just like, oh, maybe they have a little bit left. Like, no, you got young guys who are hungry, and this is the team that can do it. So why not now?
Here's the other thing, guys. It's Dukes and Bell again. Thanks for being here, hanging out. Twitch, Twitter Live, YouTube, however you're accessing this. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We're live at 2 o'clock on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Our offseason for the Braves has started. Playoffs start today. Maybe you're not paying attention. Okay.
I'm not.
Tigers, Guardians. I am, because I'm a big baseball guy. But I'll say this. Padres, Cubs. I think this is going to be an interesting series. Padres should beat the Cubs.
Dodgers series seems intriguing to me, too. The Reds are coming in super hot right now.
Well, and the Dodgers didn't win 125 games like everybody thought. So playoffs start today. Point is, Braves offseason also starts. We're going to get into, on the show, some of the things we have to address and what we think is going to happen this offseason. We're chasing a couple of guests later this week as well when it comes to that. But I'll say this, guys. The Braves have, I think, a lot more questions right now than a lot of people think. Despite how the season finished, right? And I saw a guy hit me up. He said, yeah, you said they weren't going to make the playoffs. There was one wild card team that won 83 games. The Braves were almost there. No, they weren't. I don't care about how they finished. I think they have a lot of questions, Mike, much more than I think fans are realizing or at least willing to take on. It's more than just the starting pitching.
Right.
You got all these guys coming off of injuries. You talk about what you're going to do with Ozzy. There's just a lot to kind of digest. So I don't know.
Going to spend some money. I mean, where are we at? I mean, stop spending money on the parking lots on the other side of 75, and let's put the money into the team. Because, and by the way, first question, is Snicker coming back, right? I mean, everything I'm hearing is they're going to be kindly old Brian Snitker, Cobbs. He'll be back for the final rodeo, and this is it. So are you going to load up? Are you going to load up the team? Otherwise, it's another study in futility.
So
Ha-Sung Kim, are you going to upgrade his shortstop? You talked about Ozzie starting pitching. I mean, you got to put some money into this thing.
Just I want to say this about Snit. This could go on all offseason. If they're putting it in his hands to decide, season just finished. Let me take a break. Let me go to Walmart and hang out with my grandkids. I don't know what I want to do yet. Mike, this could linger all offseason. I'm just telling you guys. If he didn't tell him right now, I'm done, there's no reason to think that decision might not just go a little bit further. Let me talk to my family. Let me talk to my son with the Astros. He's got all this stuff that he wants to do. I don't know if that gets decided as soon as maybe we hope it does, because does that affect what you do, though, in the offseason with players? It shouldn't.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think other organizations, this decision, you already have an idea where you're going with this, unless they're just playing it this close to the vest.
I agree.
Because everything I'm reading is like, it's literally, everything Carl just said, it's up in the air. But regardless, whoever the manager is going to be, and I love when guys go, where are you going to find another manager? Give me a freaking break. Okay, all the teams who have overachieved this year, find somebody from their staff. Find one of their pitching coaches. Find
3 guys got fired yesterday, so teams will find managers.
Right. And it doesn't have to be David Ross. It doesn't have to have a connection to the Braves. Okay, you can find somebody else from somewhere else. But first things first, Carl, whoever's going to be here, you need starting pitching, right? You got to into the pitching, because even if as good as you feel about some of the young guys, they're going to be pitching more innings next year than they've ever pitched. And we know how that turns out. Chris Sale's coming back, and that's great. Strider is still a question mark in my mind. Schwellenbach, what's he going to be when he can come back? So money on the starting pitching. You'll get Profar for all season. Hopefully, we'll keep the rest of the team healthy. But to me, if you're going to bring Snitker back, what's the point unless you really get up there and compete with the Phillies for that big money to get the stars in here?
All right, we'll talk more about this today on the show. Make sure you're there at 2 o'clock, guys. We'll get deeper into this, but the offseason is here. This whole thing about what are we going to do, now's the time to start thinking about it. Hot stove conversations and all the things they might
Hot stove.
All right, man. Tune in, 2 o'clock. Day, Big O, Mike, myself, we'll be there. We hope you are as well. Thanks for listening and checking us out, guys.